Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Restricted Republic. My name is Justice Knight, today filling in for Lisa Haven, and we truly can't believe we found the article we did. Why are governments stocking up on this mass execution drug? Cause for concern? Of course, it's a cause for concern, but a leaked document reveals a much more deceptive truth, and we're going to go into great detail. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a quick highlight of what this looks like here on The Guardian. Revealed, Republican-led states secretly spend huge sums on execution drugs. Moving forward, documents obtained by The Guardian show 3 states paying astronomical amounts to skirt, almost certainly illegally, a ban on pharmaceuticals for lethal injections. A document obtained by The Guardian reveals the full extent of the spending blitz that American death penalty states have embarked upon as they try to restart executions delayed by the pandemic. The findings show that Republican leaders are not only willing to run roughshod over their own state and federal laws, but also prepared to spend lavishly in the process. The key words within all of this is almost certainly illegal. And that's just where the deception begins. As a request, and as I'm sure you already know, Lisa and I co-host RestrictedRepublic.com, the platform we created to get around this censorship and suppression that is choking out real news. Right now, however, for a very limited time, we're going to offer you a discount that exists nowhere else. Discount code FREEDOM at monthly checkout will give you 24 months for $5 a month. It is a very special benefit to bring in even more people to the family of Restricted Republic, where you can hear once and for all what an open discourse of unrestricted news sounds like. And trust me, the storylines that are emerging daily, Lisa's about to cover one tomorrow, are so incendiary to those that don't allow them broadcast anywhere else. We only have one outlet to provide them to you. That is RestrictedRepublic.com. Right now, put discount code FREEDOM in monthly checkout to get that 24 months at $5 a month. This is a very limited time offer. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, Lisa will throw a link up right now. I certainly hope you'll click on that so we can continue to provide you all the news that matters. So now let's get back into the document that tripped off everything. An order coming out of Arizona, a heavily redacted order, shipped to the Arizona Department of Corrections. And you see there within the line, it says pentobarbital sodium at 1,000 quantity, price $1,500 per vial, for a total spend of $1,500,000. This was the exact document that this article was referring to. So a little background first. Pentobarbital sodium injection. Veterinarians use pentobarbital. Just for a beginning, if you don't believe me, there you go. Pentobarbital for dogs and cats for euthanasia to begin with. So again, is it illegal? Or is it a controlled substance? Go a step further here. Remembering now, it said almost certainly illegally. Are they so sure? Pentobarbital also used in medical procedures as part of anesthesia at times. Again, going back to that term, almost certainly illegally. So you see, this is all where the deception begins. It's how publishers like The Guardian trick you and deceive you and warp your sense and sensibility, or at least attempt to. Of course, we know you're too smart for that. So we'll go a step further. Maybe this is just a state deal and the feds don't feel the same. I'm going to show you an article here by Time Magazine. Why the Justice Department's plan to use a single drug for lethal injections is controversial. Now wait, this is the U.S. Department of Justice. States started using it for executions in 2011 due to a shortage of sodium thiopental, which was previously used in executions along with other drugs. They were mixed in a cocktail generally. Barr's announcement comes 5 years after the botched execution of Clayton Lockett in Oklahoma. There was another botched execution in Arizona, by the way. I'll tie this together for you shortly. In 2014, Lockett was injected with a combination, again, one of those cocktails we mentioned. It was an untested blend of chemicals, appeared to be unconscious. Lockett woke up and thrashed around before dying of a heart attack 43 minutes later. The case brought national attention to the drugs used in lethal injection. Remember now, the ones that are almost certainly illegally being used. Concerns over the effectiveness of multi-drug lethal injections also encourage states to turn to pentobarbital. Since 2010, 14 states have used this drug in over 200 executions, and federal courts, including the Supreme Court, have repeatedly upheld the use of pentobarbital in executions as consistent with the Eighth Amendment. Oh, wait now. Almost certainly illegal, but the Supreme Court upheld its use. Deception reigns supreme, doesn't, in this news cycle of lies. Going back to that Time article, the new federal guidelines state that only pentobarbital will be used, and according to the Department of Justice, the Supreme Court has upheld the use of this drug in executions. In April, the Texas Supreme Court allowed the state to protect the identity of their supplier. The Supreme Court in Missouri upheld the use of this drug for death row inmates Russell Bucklew. Scheduled for execution on October 1st, many pharmaceutical companies have stopped supplying drugs to the government for executions, but death penalty opponents say there are ways for the government to find workarounds, allegedly, again, for this drug that is from illicit dealers. Going back to the Guardian article, Republican-controlled states are spending astronomical sums of their taxpayers' money to buy pharmaceutical drugs from illicit dealers. You like how to use that. Illicit, meaning, of course, not permitted and unlawful. But it's been upheld by the Supreme Court. It's been upheld by state Supreme Courts. It's used by the Department of Justice. But yet, it's supposedly illegal for the states who are now trying to utilize it. Maybe there's another measure in place. Maybe we've misconstrued some of the facts and data about this almost certainly illegal use of the drug. So we'll go to the Arizona Department of Corrections, and this is how many people currently are sitting on death row, 115 that have now run out their appeal process. Due to COVID, many of these lethal injections were sidebarred. Well, now it's coming back to a time where they want to restart the process, kicking Arizona into, again, securing the drug necessary to perform their lethal injection process. Arizona Attorney General files notice for execution of 2 death row inmates. I think it's important we never forget who the victims were, because articles like that published by The Guardian tend to just push that to the side, trying to make the governments look like the demons who are just simply trying to fulfill the sentence brought upon those who perpetrated the crime. Here, Frank Atwood murdered an 8-year-old girl, moving down into the appeals court petition for, as you see, Frank Atwood. Let's not forget, before the kidnapping and murder convictions at issue, by the way, of Vicki Lynn Hoskinson, never forget the victims, Frank Atwood had been convicted twice for sexual incidents involving children. In 1975, Atwood was convicted of engaging in lewd and lascivious conduct with a child under the age of 14. We can move down further. In 1981, Atwood was convicted for kidnapping an 8-year-old boy. You want to continue to go down? Maybe we just forget about that all. We're supposed to push the victims aside, right? Or maybe we should just forget what Clarence Dixon did to this ASU student by the name of Deanna Bowden. No, we're just supposed to forget that, right? Push it aside. Focus on the issue at hand, the illegal securing of drugs, to go through with the execution that the court already has put down on the perpetrators of these crimes. No, we're not going to do that here. Of course not. So maybe there was just an error in the executions to begin with. Maybe the process wasn't humane. So what would have changed? What happened that Arizona and these other states and now our federal government changed the way they were performing these executions? Well, Arizona inmate dies after nearly 2 hours in apparent botched execution. Moving down in the article, in Arizona's last execution in 2014, Joseph Wood was left snorting and gasping for nearly 2 hours before he died from a controversial drug cocktail, the one I mentioned earlier. So it may be readily apparent now why Arizona changed the way they were performing these executions. Maybe they changed the drug that they are now using, this illegal and illicit drug, correct? It's so illegal and illicit that the Associated Press is publishing articles on what Arizona is doing. Arizona finds death penalty drugs after hiatus in executions. Arizona has finally obtained a lethal injection drug and is ready to resume executions after the difficulty of finding such drugs led to a nearly 7-year hiatus in carrying out the death penalty in the state. What it appears to me to be highly illegal. I mean, what's going on there? What happened last time they tried this? In recent years, Arizona and other states have struggled to buy execution drugs after U.S. and European pharmaceutical companies began blocking the use of their products in lethal injection. So now it appears to be agenda over law. In July of 2015, the state tried to import one such drug, which had been used to carry out executions but was no longer manufactured by companies approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. So what happened? The state never received the shipment because federal agents stopped it at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, and the state lost an administrative challenge to the seizure. It looks like the feds stepped again into state business. So officials answer a few questions about the $1.5 million they spent on the execution drug and why they issued a statement that they do not discuss its procurement process for execution drugs or services rendered to carry out these legally imposed sentences. Moreover, the information you seek is statutorily confidential and not subject to disclosure by state law. Pentobarbital is an otherwise legal drug, which can be used from everything from controlling seizures to a pre-anesthetic in the operating room. But manufacturers generally do not want to sell their drugs to be used for execution. So again, how can that be according to that prior article? Remembering now, allegedly illegal. It's why we wanted to give you background to what's occurring. The deception within the articles themselves. The fact that the states are simply trying to carry out their court sentences legally. But others want to stand in the way of that process. And you know when it comes to state rights, Lisa and I hold nothing more dear. If you agree with the process or not, until the process is changed, the states are perfectly within their legal boundaries and rights to do exactly what they're doing. Don't let the deception of mainstream media steer you to think otherwise. We want to thank you once again, and Lisa also asked me to give a shout out to her sponsor, Virtual Shield. Right now, remember, hidewithlisa.com. Stay home, stay protected. 50% off for life, $2.50 a month. What an amazing company. What an amazing sponsor. We can't thank you enough for being here. Thank you so much for allowing me to fill in. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justice Knight, signing out.